Welcome and thank you for your time and attendance today. We're excited for you to participate in the first PDS Virtual Connect. I'm Matt Nauwertz, Regional Sales Director for the Minnesota Territories, and I'll be kicking this session off with Justin Volden, our Senior Technical Operations Manager for our Managed Services practice. The landscape has changed. The views have changed, but the expectation of what you deliver have not. Yet how you deliver the experience has. COVID-19 has forced all of our businesses to review their capabilities and not just what, but how we deliver safe and secure experiences, all while creating limited interruptions. This time really challenged and exposed for many of our customers and businesses what they thought they were prepared for and equipped to handle. This has only accelerated the interest and utilization of managed services. The roundtable engagements and industry feedback is that COVID-19 has accelerated the digital transformation and managed services engagements by nearly 5 years, while organizations are forced to review policies and capabilities around remote workers, security, customer behaviors, and buying cycles. New customer behaviors and needs, unpredictable demand, and huge spikes in working remotely have propelled a rapid migration to digital technologies in all industries and sectors. The speed of this change is unprecedented. Companies are reassessing their IT cost structure and looking to free up resources to explore hybrid architecture and organizational critical decisions while improving their ability to automate process and strengthen their security initiatives, allowing their internal talent to align with core direction and utilizing managed services to handle key challenges. Transformation is a term used so commonly in business now that its true meaning can be lost. It's not about implementing more technology or making some improvements to internal functions. Transformation is about reimagining the entire business model to be more resilient and nimble. For many businesses, the pathway to transformation is through managed services. Previous to COVID-19, an increased number of organizations had been exploring moving to managed services operating models. But exploration of this has now moved to the top of the list within many leadership meetings and boardrooms because of its ability to rapidly enable to utilize highly skilled remote resources. During these new times, we've seen that companies that are open to new engagement and service models have had less disruption to their businesses. In the recovery period and beyond, this new thinking will define successful business. Businesses that are ready to let managed services take on those challenges that are board critical but not business differentiating can free leaders to focus on the innovation that will drive recovery. When companies shift major functions of their business towards managed services, they can reduce upfront and fixed capital costs and instead consume services in a flexible on-demand model. Managed services can drive beyond business process outsourcing to leverage providers' expertise and technologies to make key functions more efficient and effective. This allows companies to reap immediate cost savings while revamping their approach to financial investment. Managed services can provide the deep industry knowledge combined with data analytics that guide strategic shifts in business. COVID-19's disruption has heightened the importance of the need for businesses to adapt fast to change. Building that flexibility into your operational model will allow companies to focus on forming new go-to-market strategies that adapt and align with what the new working model will be moving forward. This too is constantly changing. Many businesses were already enhancing operations with digital tools and capabilities, but the impact of COVID-19 has heightened the urgency of acceleration of this transformation. Managed services deliver solutions that already include fast, cost-effective access to technologies from automation to technical expertise needed without the big upfront costs and challenges in locating key talent. With managed services, organizations have the tools to ride out what may still be a long road to recovery. The ability to confront the next financial challenge with confidence and the flexibility to make the most of opportunities. COVID-19 has changed the working world as we historically knew it, possibly forever. Companies that can mitigate the downsides of these changes and transform can recover stronger, rebuild better, and give business leaders the freedom to focus on driving the organizational forward. Adopting managed services can be a faster, more effective route to transformation, giving companies access to the tools, talent, and insight that will help them make decisions that will define success in a very different business landscape. Our digital competencies from a service standpoint, these are not new offerings for PDS. We've been delivering these services and capacities for over 30 years, from service desk, project management, and strategic architecture and managed services. I'd like to transition to Justin Volden, our Technical Operations Manager for Managed Services, for a closer look on how we are helping and how we're leveraging utilizing managed services to solve real customer problems.
Thank you, Matt. It was a great look at the landscape and environment we're all trying to navigate. As Matt mentioned, my name is Justin Volden. I'm the Technical Operations Manager for our Managed Services practice here at PDS. I've been with PDS now for about 16 years. I've focused on IT delivery through services for the majority of that time. My current role is focused on the service modeling and our delivery models for managed services. For the second half of the session, I really wanted to talk about the philosophy behind our services, how we engage, and how we hope to help. We've split out our approach for managed services into two product families. We have our managed IT product family and our managed administration product family. At the base, at the foundation of both of these is the same set of capabilities, the same set of functions, a lot of the same skill sets. The difference really comes in on how they're assembled, how you take those building blocks, put them together, and then the processes, the procedures, and the policies that really link it all together. On the managed IT side, the goal's really been focused in on small to medium-sized businesses. We're looking at 250 employees and below. But even more so than that, it's really, we're looking at the complexity of the environment. Managed IT, the philosophy behind it is a turnkey IT solution for your organization. This is a lot of times we're having these conversations when an organization may not have much of an IT staff. Maybe they have one or two people, maybe they have no IT staff. We've worked with companies that are 15 employees. We've worked with companies that are 1,000 plus employees in this realm. But it really comes down to how much of the environment you're looking for PDS to help you with. We like to think of this a lot of times as IT in the box. It's we've done all the heavy lifting. We've built out the processes, the incident management, the problem management, your change management. All these different IT processes are built and ready to go. With that approach, with all this being standardized and just put together beforehand, it's a really quick engagement process. From kickoff to go live, a lot of times we're able to do that in 4 to 5 weeks with these managed IT services. Within that product family, we have different technology stacks we focus in on. It's kind of the value menu analogy that you've probably heard quite often, where we take things, we bundle it together, and try to make it easy to use. One of the nice things that we do there is that we're not, you're able to customize that to some extent. Again, we're trying to make these quick and easy to stand up, but we have customization points in there to make it fit your organization. We also have a technology solutions provider package. You can see that along the left-hand side of that slide. It kind of encompasses everything within managed IT. And this is a newer trend in the managed services provider industry. One of the problems that we saw and many others have seen is that with these value menus, it can kind of at times get confusing as to what's included with the service. We have ways to combat that. We've put a lot of work into iterating through our engagement processes and the way we communicate to solve those problems. But the trend is moving towards this technology solution provider model, and it's a 365 look at managing your IT environment. And it covers all the different technology stacks, and it brings, most importantly, the biggest difference is that it brings in technology solutions. So this is true IT in a box, where you don't have to think about it, you're not worried about it. We're just bringing it all. There's your backup solutions, your security solutions, your telephony, everything is just in there. And the way it works is that it's a per month fee per user. So it's just a flat X number of dollars per user per month, and you get to that entire IT stack to deliver the business. There are, that's great marketing speak, right? It sounds great, but there's things not there. Mostly line of business applications aren't there. Things that are very specific to your business. But that's the philosophy and the goal, is that the IT infrastructure is packaged and ready to go, and then you can focus on the business aspects. You can focus on the line of business applications that the business uses to compete in your market. On the managed administration side, it has a different approach. So again, it's a lot of the same base capabilities, but it's how we put it together. So with managed IT being out of the box, ready to go, turnkey, PDS is going to bring it and just do it for you. Managed administration is where we sit down with you and we talk through what are those business goals that you're working on? What is the business asking of you? What projects are you actively working on, or what projects have you had to turn away? What projects did you complete but maybe aren't completely happy with how they went? And we try to really understand what it is that you're working on, where you're trying to go, and then we take these different capabilities, all these building blocks that we do have, and all these years of experience doing IT service delivery, and we work on building out that service engagement specifically to your needs. We do this a lot with larger enterprise type organizations, a lot of healthcare organizations, where they have highly focused, highly specific needs, and they need somebody that's willing to come in and has a lot of things pre-built, but is willing to apply them in a unique way to meet that organization's specific needs. The engagement process on all this has been something that we've spent an enormous amount of time developing. Some of the biggest complaints I've heard from organizations engaged with service providers, I kind of alluded to one before, not understanding what's actually in your contract. Countless times I've heard people say, I get bills every month on top of the monthly reoccurring that I'm already paying, and I have to go through and spend hours trying to figure out why I got billed extra. And it's a lot of times it's a disconnect between what everybody thinks managed services are. And then that itself is, we could talk a half hour on just that. There's so many different definitions of managed services. Matt had a great slide earlier in the presentation with a definition, and why I think that's a great definition for managed services. It's really focused in on the delivery model, and it's really focused in on the goals. So often managed services gets tied to a very specific set of functions or a very specific set of concepts, almost seen as a product of itself, rather than seen as a model for delivering different services. So that disconnect a lot of times causes confusion and causes really it erodes the value that an organization can get out of it, because they're frustrated and they're spending so much time just figuring out what it is that they have included in the contract and what it is they have to pay for. So we've spent a lot of time iterating over how we engage, how we sit down and really understand your business. And another pain point we see a lot of times is that a service provider might sell the service, and it's almost treated as a point-in-time sale. The service is sold, it's implemented. They might do some check-ins to go over reports and talk about stats and KPIs, but that service is pretty much what it is from day 1 to 3 years into the contract. So one of the things that we're doing during this engagement, during our onboarding and our engagement process, is understanding what is your strategy, what is your roadmap, where are you trying to go, because we really see these services, we see our managed services as a partner engagement, not so much as just a service that we provide. We want to make sure that we can adjust over time. What's valuable to you right now is probably not going to be exactly what you need 3 years from now, and we very much want to stay engaged and understanding where you're going, so we can adjust the service engagement to grow with you. And a lot of that, again, it all comes into the onboarding and the engagement process. Continual feedback loops are foundational for us. Continual improvement is one of those buzzwords that everybody talks about, but it's truly built in. And as a service provider, without extremely robust capabilities there, we can't keep up. So we've invested a lot into that. We've iterated a lot on what those procedures and processes look like to ensure that we're able to scale with you and really make these things valuable. After the engagement, the way we stay engaged is with our customer service managers. They're going to help you with understanding your data. Client reporting is one way, but they're also going to meet with you on a weekly basis. That cadence, we'll keep it at a weekly meeting for as long as you want. There's a lot of clients that we've had for years and years and years, and we still meet with them weekly, if not bi-weekly. And I'm ecstatic about that. I love that we're that engaged, and that the organizations we're working with want to be that engaged with us. It makes for a great partnership, and we can do exactly those things I was talking about. It's not just about the service, and you may have noticed I haven't talked a whole lot about what is the service, what is the managed service, and patching, monitoring, remediation efforts, minor changes. We'll stay up all night and do the firmware changes so your team doesn't have to stay up all night and do the firmware changes. Things go bump, we're responding. You need to reach out to the ISP, you need to reach out to a vendor, we'll do that for you. You don't need to tie up your team with those things. The concept of managed services really being to relieve pressure from your team, give your team the ability to focus on business and generating value back to the business, answering business questions, creating competitive advantages for your business. You don't want to be in the business of pulling all-nighters just to keep the lights on. So I mean, that's a bit generic. That's why I'm not spending a lot of time there. But you know, the idea of what managed services are, you know, we're aligned there. But I think what's important, what's we've really focused on to try to elevate how we can help and elevate the value we can bring is around these engagement processes, around the business relationship, around the delivery models and the feedback loops back into those delivery models so we can adjust for you as you grow, as you change. And the CSM is an extremely important part of that. Again, they'll meet with you on a regular cadence that makes sense for you, and they are going to make sure you understand the KPIs, not just that your FLR for the month was 92%. They're going to make sure you understand what is FLR and how, not just an industry definition, but how does PDS specifically measure that, and why do we measure it that way? Why do we approach it that way? They're going to talk through open issues, talk about projects that you have going, talk about different things that PDS is going. Maybe we're introducing maybe we're bundling in some new services into our managed services, and they'll bring that to you and let you know, hey, we're going to be rolling out this new dynamic documentation platform that you'll have access to that'll scan your environment and provide you daily updated configuration information for your Active Directory or your 365 implementation. So they really become that lifeline between our organizations. In those meetings, we also always have a representative from our technical operations team. So somebody that's on the ground doing the work, that's in the environment, that's seeing things happen. We'll always have one of those representatives in those meetings as well, so that we can best ensure that we can answer your questions. So I am up at time here. If you do have any questions, please feel free to drop that into the chat box. Otherwise, reach out afterwards, and we'd be happy to dive in deeper with you. Thank you very much for attending today.